tell us how your PANS or PANDAS journey started?
So for us, our son was just young, just a toddler, and he got chickenpox, and his behaviour completely changed overnight. Um, would had another child with chickenpox at the time, so we knew the child might not be well, but
Yeah.
this was something different. Um, he didn't really recover in the way that his brother did, and so he was a lot more anxious, just very upset, and it carried on and on. And we'd gone to the doctors and gone through the usual process. Could it be gluey? Went back and forward for about 6 months with that. And eventually started getting a little bit better, and maybe we thought it was gluey. Um, but then the next virus hit, and the next one, and the next one. And every time a virus would hit, whether it was a cough or a cold or a severe allergy, his behaviours would change again. But it was really hard to get help. It was really hard. Um, the the doctors had taken us down the ENT route.
Yeah.
Um, the schools were putting it down behaviourally, and we could see how that was going. But when we were talking about the medical link, the side that it was linked to his wellness, I would always say it's his wellness. There is something with his wellness that is affecting this behaviour,
Yeah.
and nobody really seemed to listen.
How did you hear about PANS and PANDAS? And how did you manage to identify that this might be the condition that your son was living with?
So for a long time, we had gone down the route of allergies and ENT. That it could have been the allergies affecting his sleep pattern, that it could have been the blocked nose keeping him awake, but alongside those things. But it was this period of wellness and then this period of post COVID that we really saw those changes, and couldn't keep putting it down to just ear, nose, and throat and allergies. It didn't fit.
Yeah.
And for a long time, we'd been quite desperate. We'd started going to Google and
Yeah.
looking for things. And I would Google terms like allergies and behavior changes.
Yeah.
And would find information, but again, it just didn't fit. And then I'd gone and I started looking with behavior changes with infections.
Yeah.
And it was as simple as that. It was a search term that I hadn't looked up. Behavior changes with infections, behavior changes with viruses. And I'd never searched that up because I was looking for something else.
Yeah.
And suddenly I heard of PANS and PANDAS. And my jaw hit the floor. In fact, I remember crying, going, this is the thing. By this point, we were 5 years down the line.
So what impact did PANS PANDAS UK have on you being able to access a diagnosis and support?
You were able to give us a lot of support and a lot of help. You gave us the information that we needed, that medical information, that information that we just hadn't had before. You gave us access to resources and things that I could give to the doctors and that I could give to the educational professionals. Things that were referenced, that were researched, things that I just didn't know about before, and things that a lot of the professionals that we were dealing with hadn't heard of either. I think it was a lot of things pulled together that really, with PANS and PANDAS UK at the heart of that. meant that with the changes after our son had recovered from the infections, with the information from Pans and Pandas, with the support of a private doctor, that we were able to get a lot more support um, with in his education.
And can I ask about more specifically about the education? So the difference that the charity's education program has made for your own family's experience and perhaps a little bit professionally as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the education side of things, it has been a huge help. My son now has an EHCP, and as part of that, the professionals that work with him, um, they have all had the Pans and Pandas training. Um, I've had some really, really good response from that. I think it helps staff understand that this is different to just plain autism or just plain ADHD. This is a something that fluctuates. So that if you see a presentation with Henry a week ago or 2 months ago, that doesn't define whether that's the presentation you're going to get with him tomorrow.
Mm.
And it's about being able to adapt those methods according to his presentation. And that's vital. And it's vital to help him on the bad days. But it's also vital to help him make that progress on the good days. Because when he's well, we want him to make progress. We need to push that achievement, those achievements that he's been making. But we also need to make sure that he's got the right support for him on those days where he's unwell.
And what you've so eloquently and openly outlined is the difference and seeing that potential and what steps are needed in children with PANS and PANDAS to help them realise that potential.
Absolutely. I think it's completely changed. It's changed us. It's obviously it changes families. It's an illness that devastates families. And because of the uncertainty of it all of the time, it's that sheer uncertainty that without the treatment, our life, we didn't know what we could plan from one day to the next. And so it was, like I say, getting that help has just been life changing. So we've gone from a boy who, like I say, would be lying on the floor and crying, unable to write, aggressive and anxious, to somebody who is thriving, who performed in front of the whole school on his keyboard,
That's amazing.
who who's gone who's gone away for weekends with the scouts, who has, like I say, who has climbed up mountains, and who can go to places and talk to people and express his interests and his needs. It's just a complete change, and it's wonderful to watch. And the help that we've had to get there, we can't thank Pandas UK enough. We can't thank the professionals who have got on board to help him enough. They've changed his life. You've all changed his life. And it's not perfect, but I don't need perfect now. When children are getting the help that they need with Pans and Pandas, it allows them to thrive. And the help was often relatively easy for us antibiotics, antihistamines. And that help is easy to provide. And yet the long term benefits are phenomenal.